Gaslighting is a term that we hear frequently, and it seems like it's bandied around all over the place at the moment without people really understanding what it means. Gaslighting is a manipulative tactic that aims to make a person doubt their own thoughts, feelings, reality, and perceptions. When one work colleague uses gaslighting on another, whether that's their manager or a peer, it can lead to confusion, frustration, and a toxic work environment. In this video, we'll explore what gaslighting is, how to recognise it, and I'll offer some strategies for effectively dealing with colleagues who engage in this type of behaviour in the workplace. I'm Jo Banks. I've been a professional executive business coach for almost 15 years, and I'm sharing what I know. What's the purpose of gaslighting? Gaslighting is the primary tool that someone will use to redirect attention away from themselves when they know they're in the wrong or that what they're doing is wrong. It's a particularly favourite tool of narcissists, which I've talked about extensively in my previous mini-series, Narcissism in the Workplace. So if you haven't seen that, I'll leave the links below. The primary purpose of gaslighting is deflection, to deflect attention away from the abuser and onto the other person. People who gaslight are highly manipulative and extremely adept at doing anything possible to avoid taking responsibility for their actions. Gaslighters will flatly deny their victim's recollection of a situation, even in the face of cold, hard facts. This leaves the other person, the victim, feeling confused, disorientated, and questioning their own reality. This is exactly what the abuser, and let's call it out for what it is, it's a form of abuse. This is exactly what the abuser wants to get you off their back. Where does the term originate? The term gaslighting comes from a British play turned film from the 1930s. The play was called Gaslight, and the plot is about a con man husband of an independently wealthy woman who systematically tries to make her believe that she's going crazy by using various psychological tactics. These include adjusting the gaslights in their home, dimming and brightening them, but denying all knowledge when she begins to question him. Over time, his denial of all of the odd happenings in the home make her start to believe that she's going crazy. If you like old films, the 1944 adaptation Gaslight is absolutely brilliant. I really recommend it. What are the red flags of gaslighting? The red flags, as you can imagine, are many and varied. However, here are some of the most common ones. Denying the truth. The gaslighter may outright deny something that they've said or did, even when there's clear evidence to the contrary. When they do this, especially for the first time, you'll likely begin to question yourself, and you may even give them the benefit of the doubt. That's because they will probably be so emphatic that they are right and you're wrong that you'll believe them. As this behaviour starts to happen more frequently, which it will, it always escalates unless you call it out, you will begin to question yourself and your reality more and more. Over time, you may find that you can't rely on your own recollection of events, doubting yourself and your reality. Next, we have minimizing feelings. They will likely minimize your emotions, making you feel like you're overreacting or being too sensitive. However, if you did the same thing to them, they'd be in uproar. Next, we have shifting blame. Gaslighters deflect responsibility for their actions, making it seem like it's you that's at fault. Whether you call it deflection or misdirection, another good term for it, the results are the same. It gets you off their case. Of course, flat out denial is deflection. However, it can also come in the following forms: changing the subject quickly, bringing up something completely unrelated that happened in the past that you thought was resolved. It could be an old argument or some transgression, even from many, many years ago, that they just can't seem to let go of and bring up in a completely unrelated situation. Blaming you for what happened, blaming you for their behaviour. For example, you made me do it. If you weren't such a fill in the blank, I wouldn't have had to do something like this. Next, getting angry or aggressive or suddenly bursting into tears. Again, that's deflection, also manipulation. Or creating a totally different narrative to what actually happened. Next, we have storming out and staying away for hours or until they think you've calmed down. Another might be switching off their screen or not giving you eye contact in meetings. It's important to note that they may try several of these tactics in one go if they don't feel that you're buying into what they're saying and they sense that they may be losing control of the situation. So using a culmination of those things is really common. Next, we have trivializing concerns. They may make light of your concerns or problems, suggesting that they're insignificant. Projection. Gaslighters project their negative qualities or inadequacies onto their victim, accusing them of the very same behaviour that they're exhibiting. As they like to present themselves as being better than everyone else, whenever they perceive a weakness in others that subconsciously they know exists in them, they will begin to bully that person. Bullies, which is what we're really referring to when we're discussing gaslighting, typically really dislike themselves, despite what they'd have you believe. They typically have low self-esteem, low self-worth, low self-confidence, and bully other people as a result. Bullying a person who has the same, what they perceive as negative traits as they do, makes them feel better. As I've said in so many of my videos now, bullies build themselves up by putting others down. Recognizing gaslighting behaviour. Before you can address gaslighting, you must first be able to recognize it. Here are some really common signs that someone might be engaging in gaslighting. Consistent denial. When confronted with facts or evidence, they deny their actions, words, or responsibilities. Invalidation of emotions. They dismiss your emotions or concerns, often suggesting that you're overacting or you're being irrational. Blame shifting. This is a big one. They will regularly shift the blame onto you or others, avoiding accountability for their actions. Inconsistency. Gaslighters will often make contradictory statements or change their story completely to confuse you and keep you off guard and feeling unsettled. Lying with ease. Gaslighters have absolutely no issue with lying, which can be incredibly confusing for us normal people, as we just don't expect people to blatantly lie, which is often how abusers manage to get away with so much. Diminishing achievements. They will downplay your accomplishments and contributions in an attempt to make you feel inadequate, building themselves up by putting you down. Dealing with a colleague who is gaslighting. Navigating the complexity of gaslighting requires a thoughtful and strategic approach. The steps for dealing with someone who's gaslighting are pretty much the same as I've discussed in the previous video, number 27, how to deal with a passive-aggressive boss or co-worker. So I'm not going to go over all that again. I will leave the link below so you can go back and watch it. I really recommend that you do that. But in addition to what I cover in that video, it's important to know that when you try to address someone about their gaslighting, guess what they're going to do? Gaslight you. So here are my additional tools for managing gaslighting. Firstly, stay on topic. Remember, the gaslighter is going to do everything they can not to take responsibility and redirect focus away from them and back onto you. And they are experts at it. Therefore, it's absolutely crucial that you don't let them derail the conversation. Here are some real life examples of comments made using gaslighting tactics from both my own experience, because I've come across a lot of gaslighters, and that of my clients. These are the things you might hear them say. I never said that. You're making it up. It's you. You're a liar. You're lying. I was only joking. You just don't get my sense of humour. Oh, goodness, I've heard that one a few times. What about that time you did X, Y, Z? This will likely be utterly unrelated to the topic. Again, deflection. What about them? They've done far worse and you haven't said anything to them. You need to see someone. You're losing it. There's something wrong with you. You aren't such a saint yourself. So you've never done anything wrong. Oh, it's always about you. Shut down the behaviour. Now you know that they're going to turn the tables on you and you know the types of things they're going to say. Be prepared. Forewarned is forearmed. Don't let them do it. Don't let them get away with it. When they start with the deflection tactics, recognize it and shut it down. Here are some great ways to respond in a no-nonsense manner. We aren't talking about that right now. Let's stick to this topic. We remember things differently. You have the right to your opinion, but not the facts. I know my truth and I'm not debating it with you. I hear you, but that's not my experience. I will discuss solutions with you, but will not debate my feelings. I hear that your intention was to make a joke, but the impact was hurtful. I know what's best for me. I find it hard to hear when you talk to me like that. I'm stepping away from this conversation. One final one that could be a bit controversial, but I really like it. You say to the abuser, one of two things is happening here. Either you're lying or you have a potentially serious issue with memory loss. Either way, both are really concerning to me. Now, that could actually be seen as passive aggressive, but I do know people who've used it, especially with family members, to really good effect. Keep evidence, if only for your own mental health. Keep a record of all of your interactions with this person. I discuss this in various videos. Keep evidence of dates, times, conversations, emails, texts, witnesses, how it made you feel. I recommend keeping them in a he said, she said format. So that's basically, I said this, they said this, I said this, they said that. Really important that you make notes of those types of conversations. Some people find that they have to record their conversations so that they don't feel like they're going crazy. In a work scenario, I always advocate covering your butt and following up conversations or meetings in writing, clearly stating what was discussed, actions that are going to be taken, timelines, all of that type of information to avoid any miscommunication or misunderstanding. That way, you also have a log of the conversation. If you decide to make an official complaint at some point, you will not be able to do so effectively without evidence. Evidence is absolutely crucial and something that most people don't think about. The wrap up. Dealing with a colleague who engages in gaslighting can be really challenging, but addressing the issue promptly is essential to maintaining a healthy work environment. Recognizing the signs of gaslighting, maintaining professionalism, documenting interactions, and seeking support are all critical steps in managing the situation. By addressing the behaviour directly and involving HR if necessary, you can help create a workplace where gaslighting is not tolerated and everyone is treated with respect and fairness. One final but critical piece of advice. I always know now when I'm dealing with someone who's trying to gaslight me. The biggest giveaway is when I start to feel confused. If someone makes me confused about something I know really happened that I did or said, or some sort of situation that has already occurred, and they make me feel confused about it, I know there's a good chance that they're trying to gaslight me. So whenever you feel confused, take a step back and think more deeply about that one. What next? This video and the previous video have been requested by you, my lovely viewers, and I love that you're enjoying the content and giving me ideas for what you want to see. If there's a topic that you'd like me to cover, put it in the comments section below and I'll add it to the list. I read and respond to every single comment, apart from the rude, mean or nasty ones, because I will not tolerate bullies on my channel. They get deleted and banned. Each one of my videos takes up to 20 hours to write, record and edit. So I want to make sure that I'm spending that time wisely and giving you content that's really useful. As always, can't stop the video without this. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a thing. I've got some great stuff coming up. Finally, thank you to everybody who watches until the very end, and thank you so much for your continued support. It means the absolute world to me.